I start this video, I just want to say that I built my own tiny house and I'm by no means a professional. I got no professional help, and prior to building this tiny house had pretty much zero building experience. So I'm basing all of the knowledge that I'm providing based on the experience I had building my own house. Whether you think that's legitimate advice, up to you guys to decide, but I'm still going to share my experience and the things that I've learned from. In terms of saving money, the biggest thing that I would say is just to plan. I did about 2 years of research, but that involved, watching other tiny houses and watching other tours, figuring out what I wanted inside, and maybe less of it was technical planning in terms of how many studs there was going to be on the back wall, or how many boxes of screws I was going to need, or anything. I would suggest drawing your house out as much as you can. I tried to learn SketchUp and I just didn't have enough time with it, and the build was starting soon, so I didn't want to stress myself out. But if you could learn SketchUp, that would be very helpful, and I know there's a lot of tutorials on how to do it. And Tiny Nest, if you haven't already checked them out, they have an amazing set of videos about building a tiny house and saving money and very specific things that are really helpful to see. And they also drew their tiny house, and their whole plans are available for free, I believe. If you go to one of their videos, their channel name Tiny Nest, they have all of their resources for free, which is awesome. The other thing is to be as detailed as you can if you're drawing it out or using SketchUp or some program. That's something I didn't do, and that's not because I didn't want to. It's just I didn't understand the building process because I never had done it before. So I didn't realize the things I was going to need on the inside, and I didn't plan very well. That being said, not planning very well cost me money, because then it was like I was doing a lot of work, and then all of a sudden I'd come to a point where I couldn't do anymore because I didn't have any more screws, or I didn't have the bracket I needed, or whatever it might be, which just was such a pain, because then you have to drive to the hardware store and you're wasting your time. Just as much as possible, if you can plan ahead, like everything that you can. It's so important, because I certainly made way too many trips to different hardware stores that were totally unnecessary if I had actually planned the tiny house out better. I blame it on the fact that I've never built before, but that really shouldn't be an excuse, because there's resources out there that could have provided me with the information that I needed and the resources to let me know exactly what I was going to need. And that channel I was talking about, Tiny Nest, was definitely a huge resource, but I honestly, I guess, didn't use it as much as I probably should have. The last sort of tip I would have has to do with Restore. So there's a Restore near where I live. I don't know if there's one. I think they are all across the country, but I think it's more in specific areas, so I'm not quite sure if they have one near you. But there's Habitat Restores, which have windows, doors, construction stuff, 2x4s, all sorts, anything that you can think of, and it's all discounted, and you're basically reusing something that someone else had, or it was scraps, or it was sent to, say, a place like Lowe's and they couldn't use it for some reason, so it gets sent to these kind of places. It's really good to look there first, because you can save a lot of money looking at these places that recycle sometimes brand new items just because a store can't take it back, or because the stickers were ripped off or something. Who knows what it is, but there's awesome products there. I found 3 of my windows at a Restore, which totaled just under or just over $100 for 3 windows. And then that window was $88, and the one that's right in front of me was significantly more, because I couldn't find a long skinny window that opened, and I needed one that opened in my tiny house. But that being said, I think I spent just around $400 or just under $400 because this window was about $150 or so. But that being said, I saved so much money by going to these restores. I also bought cabinets at a restore, which I actually didn't end up using because I was kind of in the phase where I was like, oh, I need to be able to see everything, and it's not really a phase, it's a choice. I want to see all of the items that I have in my tiny house so that I'm just not, you know, aimlessly throwing, you know, cups in a cabinet and then I'll never even look at them again, and then maybe I'll buy more because I don't see them every day and I don't know that I have them or whatever. It doesn't really make sense for a tiny house, but that was my thought process. So I didn't end up using the cabinets, but it was cherry cabinets, which I forget how much. I think I got 2 of them maybe for like $60. I can't remember, but I would definitely check that out. Sometimes like thrift stores, they have furniture, maybe cabinets. I think that's it. A little word of advice for anyone who's out there trying to do this and has zero experience. I think you kind of have to expect mistakes to happen. I definitely expected a ton of mistakes, which made it a lot easier when they did come up because I was sort of expecting them, so it made it easier in a way. And just to always remind yourself that you're building a house. Like, you're pretty much taking all of those skills that you would use to build a regular house and building it all condensed on wheels in some cases, on a foundation in some cases, but it's challenging. It's not easy to build a house, and if you do have zero experience like I did, you sure as heck better have a lot of passion and interest in tiny houses and just feel like really pumped whenever you get to work on it, because otherwise there's no way I would have completed this. If I wasn't like really invested in this project, no way I would have done it. I have a feeling there'll be a lot more questions coming because I didn't really plan this video too much. It just kind of happened. So there's many things I didn't cover. If you have any suggestions, you can leave them below. I will see you guys